Hey folks, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Nation, the world's largest, most awesomest, amazingest endurance community. Folks who love adventure, who love endurance. We are the power of what it means to work together, to collaborate. And my story today is a little bit about that. Just want to share a little anecdote, something that's happened to me, and give you a sense of how the powers of the universe, you can bend them to your will inside of a community like Endurance Nation, or perhaps a community you have locally or not. But it's a good moment to reflect. It caused me to reflect, and many others that I've told the story to as well, just on the power of community and how community works. So we work with endurance athletes, people who do triathlons, which is where we started, but have migrated now to ultra racing on the running scene, on the cycling scene, on the mountain biking scene, on the kayaking scene, like whatever it is, people are doing these ultra things. And our general principles of training, about return on investment, about learning and working together have continued to thrive despite the changes that our membership has made over time. So regardless of the sport that you're taking part in, there's opportunities for you to be sort of integrated with what we do here inside Endurance Nation. But as always, people show up for the training plans, but we tell them that the real power here is in the people in the community. And that's what my story is a little bit about today. So I went for a bike ride a couple weeks ago, brand new gravel bike, super excited, Cannondale Super 6 Evo, just amazing, gorgeous. She's a beauty. And yeah, I ran into a little problem. I got a little carried away as a newbie gravel biker and managed to do, I'm going to share my screen for you right now. Here we go. And I managed to, as you can see, something's missing from my bike here in the video. And that's right, my seat has snapped off. There's like a lazy sort of layback seat on the Cannondale. And literally it's snapped off in that space. So if I toggle through these images, you'll see here I am like actually holding the seat. You can see where the carbon is separated from the top of the seat post here. I come out, just like mind boggling, like fell over, heard a noise. And I was like, oh, dear sweet tiny baby Jesus, I hope that's not some part of my body. And it wasn't. But when I picked my bike up again, holding the handlebars and the saddle, I realized the saddle came off in my hand, still holding on to the top of the seat post. Well, I realized that wasn't going to work, right? And you can see this. I discovered along the way that carbon is crazy, crazy sharp. And so once I took a bunch of pictures of it here so people could see it, there's the sharp picture there, kind of get a sense of how it went. So the net being that, yeah, snap that seat post. So, of course, I get back from my ride. What I have to do, just so you're aware, what I have to do is I got to pick myself up again. I'm 35 miles into a 90-mile ride, gravel, middle of nowhere, similar to the image behind me here in these woods. I have to get myself back to my car. So I've got to pack everything up. Thankfully, I had a bike jersey and I wear a hip belt. So I had lots of storage and I was able to carry my stuff. So I had to ride home standing for about just over an hour, 75 minutes of standing intervals to get back, which is fine. Good session, right? Then I get back to my car and I brought some shoes to run. So I decided I was going to run 10 miles just to kind of burn some calories and feel like I'd done something positive in terms of a training perspective. But before I did that, I thought I'd hop online and just say, hey, like, why don't I just learn more about this? Because I was in a different part of the state. Maybe there's a bike shop nearby. I don't know where the Cannondale dealers are. What do I do? So I call around. I call a dealer down near where I was, and I also call a dealer from where I bought my bicycle. And both gave me the same answer, which was, I'm going to have to warranty that. I got to take it in. They want to do a whole assessment of the bike, A. And then B, I need to get a new part, and that's going to be about 8 weeks minimum to get because nobody has it in stock here in the States. So both were, I mean, the warranty is nice because I have a warranty. The bike's new. The downside is that for a warranty, they'd want to have my bike for 2 weeks anyway before I got it back, which is fine if the part's going to take 8 weeks. But come on, I know the supply chain is bad, but I got to wait 8 weeks for this bike part. So I went online and just put up a message in my WhatsApp group with a bunch of my friends, just be like, oh, can you believe this? Like, my 7th ride with this bike. Here's this thing that happened. So bummed. They're saying 8 weeks. Well, lo and behold, someone writes back and says, don't worry about it. We know a guy. We got a guy who knows a guy, whatever. Sure enough, not 9 days, 9 days after the accident, in my hand, brand new seat post, fits my bike, Cannondale Super 6 Evo, set back, the whole nines, super light, saddle ready to go. Already took it out for a spin today. Already rocks as well. And so how did I turn an 8-week turnaround time with this, sort of warranty need and everything into a 1-week timeline? Like, how's that even possible? And the answer, well, it's community. The answer is community. So let me tell you a little story about this because it's kind of funny. I ride Zwift. Those of you who follow me online know I ride Zwift almost every day, some capacity. Love my training, love my time on Zwift. And about 4 years ago when I was riding Zwift, so in the early days of Zwift, I was planning to go hold a cycling camp because we hold cycling camps in Mallorca. We've done it there 3 years now, and enjoy it going in April and so on. And while I was in the chat, someone had mentioned, I saw on the sidebar that they were going to Mallorca. And I just wrote back, I said, hey, I'm going to, I've never been. Like, how do you like it? And he said, I love it. I'm going there. These are the dates I'll be there. And I said, I can't believe it. I'm also going to be there, like, the last, 3 days of your whole time. We should connect. That's it, right? You just kind of leave that thing there and say, we should connect. Well, lo and behold, that guy finds me on Strava, sends me a message on Strava and says, hey, no, seriously, let's definitely connect. Let's do something. Yeah, he looked me up on Strava, I guess. We're compatible. I don't know, like we're, sort of similar riders. So sure, sounds great. We'll meet up. So I go meet this guy. I'm 6'2", about 180 pounds when I'm in shape, etc. I go meet this gentleman from the UK. We meet in Spain on a Zwift date because I never met this person before. The exact thing I would tell my children never, ever, ever to do. And we meet up at the hotel to go for a ride. And this gentleman is like 6'5", but probably leaner than I am. A monster on the bike, just super strong. And our first ride together was appropriately like 80 miles. And the only thing we eat is like one espresso. I nearly died, passed out from lack of calories, but proceeded to have an epic week together. And the time that we had really hit it off. And subsequent to that, have stayed in touch online, virtual Everesting twice together, and so on. So when I messaged the group, this gentleman reached back out to me and said, hey, we know somebody. I'm like, how do we know somebody? You live in the UK, I live in the States. I don't know anybody. And he said, no, do you remember our friend? He virtual Everested with us 2 years ago. Turns out that he's a Cannondale rep somewhere. He works, he's got like all these parts in his garage. He works, he's always helping, managing with dealers and so on. I'll tell him to have a poke about, see what's going on inside there, see if there's something. And it adds him to the group chat. So I just tell him, I send a picture. I say, this is what happened. This is what I'm missing, etc. He's like, well, you definitely need to get your bike checked out for sure, for safety. And you have the warranty, and, Cannondale stands by all the stuff that they do. In the meantime, I'll have a look around. And sure enough, like that night, he said, I think I've got you taken care of. And less than 7 days after that night, there you go. I got the part in my hand, gone through customs, and I'm outside riding my bike. And the reason why I say that is because when we are endurance athletes and we train, typically the way that we think about endurance training is this completely solo endeavor. We narrow down our focus and we say, like, this is what I'm trying to achieve. I need to, get rid of distractions and do the thing I want to do. Is a very sort of like tough effort. And we mirror our training experience with what we're going to have on race day, which is ultimately a very long, day-long, multi-day-long conversation with ourselves, seeking resilience and strength. That couldn't be further from the best way to do it. Being part of a community means you get to walk that daily path of getting better, about becoming stronger, getting your questions answers, getting support, getting mojo, getting kudos, all the good stuff that a community brings to you, so that you're even better prepared for race day when you are alone. So by setting that default training setting to alone, well, you might never have ever reached out to that person in the chat. You would have just said, right? Or you may never have actually connected with them, followed up there, right? You may not have stayed in touch online, right? Because why would you? You're never going to see this person again. And then you may not have virtual Everested with them and then had this benefit. All of that is from the power of community. I personally have been super fortunate, not simply from a business decision, but from just having a default on community setting. Sure, every once in a while I've been burned, but I've learned that the positive upside of interacting with others, putting your best foot forward, adding positivity and paying it forward across the universe, whether it's in person or digitally online, whether it's with friends and family or with endurance athletes like yourself, the benefits always outweigh the negatives 100% every single time. And so I encourage you to do the same. Reach out, dig in deeper, say hi to that person running by, say hi to the person who stopped, check in, just be conversational, be friendly, be awesome. There are awesome people out there just like you who might be afraid to take that first step. But the long-term benefits of doing that, in this case, helped me win with this bike seat, but long-term have just made me just more positive and happy athlete. I love my training. I love the people I train with. Couldn't imagine doing it otherwise. And I certainly wish that journey for you. If you don't have that accessibility to you, then I offer you humbly Endurance Nation, which is a community of over 500 endurance athletes doing all manner of sports. We just had a bunch of people do some ultra running at Tahoe this past weekend in epic conditions. You'll be hearing about that soon in our podcast and on our blog as well. But you'll also meet athletes who are just getting started, athletes who are getting back into shape, athletes who are recovering from COVID. We walk all different paths, but we walk it together. It's a fantastic place to be, and we certainly hope that you'll join us. So that's it. Coach Patrick with a super happy, positive story about how you can meet totally strangers on Zwift who will eventually one day save you from disaster. That's the moral of the story. Have a great week, everyone. I hope you're smiling, and I certainly, most of all, hope that you pay it forward. I'll see you all on the line.